muscle. But this, I tend to like these ones if I'm going to do a protein shake. I like chocolate. I tried the vanilla, but the thing to know when I first started doing protein shakes or protein anything, it was because my trainer Jay told me about it, and I was like, I don't want to have eggs all the time, blah blah blah. And he said, why don't you substitute two? If you're trying to eat, we all know it's best to eat all during the day. Those of you that have been watching my videos for a while, personally, it tends to be a little bit more work for me to do that. It's not my bag, but I also do know that it is better. And I also have noticed, as bad as my diet has been the past month, and when I say it's bad, I'm not eating junk food. What's happening is I'm totally just getting so wrapped up in my work. I'll forget to eat for hours, and then I look at my watch and I'm like, crap, I have to run to this appointment. And then I run to that appointment and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten since 9 a.m. and it's 2 o'clock. I'm going through a drive-through. I'm making healthy choices at the drive-through, but I'm not eating like the best thing. And then I'm getting to like 9 o'clock at night and I'm really, really hungry and I'm having like dinner at 9 o'clock at night. This is where I need to get back and say, it's time to put me first, and it's time to start planning my meals. If I'm going to put this much effort and time into my workouts, I'd like to see results. And we all know that if your diet, what you're eating, is mostly carbs, whether it's good carbs or not good carbs, my diet has been way too carb heavy. I've been having too much. I'm trying to think of like for lunch I was having like just a couple veggie burgers and then some green beans. For breakfast I'd have oatmeal, and then I wouldn't make my protein shake because of time, everything. It doesn't take that much extra time to make a little effort to cook some chicken breasts in advance so that you can have that. But if you don't want to always have eggs and chicken breasts, this is where the beauty of protein powder comes in. Now, that said, sometimes people get a little crazy and they think that they can do protein shakes all day. This is not what you want to do. No one from GNC is going to tell you that. I'm not going to tell you that. No trainer is going to tell you that. You need to have real food. So I am not a trainer. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I would suggest, if you're trying to eat 5 to 6 meals a day, that maybe 2 of those at the most would be a protein shake or a kind of fun meal that you make with protein. You might be going, what kind of fun meal could you make with protein? Let me tell you something. I'm so addicted to protein pancakes, you have no idea. And you won't believe that you can make them with like no carbs. But once you jump over into this world and you've tried some of these things, you'll realize that it's not crazy. But anyway, here's a couple of things to keep in mind. When you choose your protein powders, there's a lot of options out there. There's also a lot of options where you can buy, I didn't know this, but you can buy protein powder at a store like GNC, and you might also see a similar brand. I didn't know about this, you guys. And you might go, well, why not? Why wouldn't I buy this at drugstore retailer X? The brands that are there are not going to have, okay, so you can, it's kind of like, how do we say this? If you're buying a designer like Vera Wang, and you buy something at her store, it's going to be couture, it's going to be high class, it's going to be, have a lot of attention to detail. If you're buying Vera Wang at Target, you are getting I don't want to say this in a bad way, you're getting a cheaper version of that. So it's not going to have all of the time, the attention to detail, the stitching. I think we all get that concept. I didn't realize that when you're talking about like your protein powders with specific, supplementation and vitamins that are in here, what you see at a certain drugstore is not the same brand that you will see at like a GNC, or if you're ordering direct from the company. So keep that in mind. I didn't know that, because I'm not going to lie, I might have seen something at like a Walmart or something and thought it was the same exact thing. It's not. There's different versions, different watered down versions. But always look, as you would with anything you're buying. Okay, this is not just for protein powder. This is also for if you're buying frozen fruit, if you're buying anything, you need to look at the cereals in particular. If you're looking at anything, you should be looking at the serving size and the calories, because sometimes people will look and go, oh, it's 200 calories, and not see that that's for 2 scoops. Or if it says, you might look at something and go, oh, it has 500 calories, that's too much, and not realize that that is for 3 scoops, and realize, okay, wait a second, what's good for me? If I'm a woman and I'm trying to shoot for like 20 grams of protein with each meal, and this, let me give you an example. If you were to get this, you'd look at this and go, okay, this is 350 calories a serving, and it's, where's my protein? 50 grams of protein. I'm Kelly Olexa, I don't need 50 grams of protein in one serving. So for me, what I would do instead of, this says one serving is 3 scoops, I'd probably go and divide this by 3, and I'd either do, let's see, I'd probably do half. So I do 1.5 scoops, which would give me 25 grams of protein and about, 175 calories. And then I'm gonna look at my carbs. This has 25 grams of carbs. So this is a little bit more carb heavy, okay? There's protein powders out there. It might not be this GNC AMP. If you go to GNC, there's like 700 brands of protein powder. This one that I told you I use, this one I tend to use more for shakes. This one I tend to use more for like protein pancakes or recipes like that. It's just my personal choice. This one serving size is 2 scoops, 200 calories, 17 grams of carbs, and 25 grams of protein. So with that, you probably want to stick with that. It's 25 grams of protein, less carbs. There are some protein powders out there that have like 2 carbs or 0 carbs. So in that case, but just, you know, it's not all about just counting carbs, but it is something to keep in mind. So with this one, I tend to make my shakes. I tend to like this one, and if you're new to using protein powder, you'll experiment and you'll find what works for you. I tend to like this one for shakes. I will put, this is why I brought out my frozen food. For those of us that don't live in nice tropical climates, who does? Freeze, when your bananas get too mushy, freeze them. They are wonderful in a smoothie / protein shake. Frozen berries are cheaper to buy. I buy these at Target, and then I throw in, again, people, pay attention to your calories. Don't just throw in a big bunch. This says, because calories add up, and if you're trying to lose weight, you've got to pay attention to this. So 3/4 of a cup is 80 calories. If you're doing 2 scoops of this at 200 calories, you throw in a whole banana, that's 100 calories. If you throw in 3/4 of a cup of this, that's 80 calories. Right there, you've got a shake that's 200, 380, that's 400 calories. You throw in, a little honey or something, that's 500 calories. If you had 2 or 3 of those a day with 2 or 3 big meals and you wonder why you're not losing weight, these are the kind of details that you have to pay attention to. So it's not just that you can screw up your diet by, wow, I'm at 17 minutes. You can screw up your diet and be stuck not losing weight, even if you're eating foods like bananas and protein shakes. You've got to pay attention to the details. Don't just randomly go, well, I'm having protein shakes and I'm working out. Why am I not losing weight? It's just sometimes it can be just as, I don't want to say damaging. It can be just as much of an impediment to weight loss to have too much of good foods as it is to have, be going out and eating Kit Kats and Hostess cupcakes all the time. So keep that in mind. Also understand that sometimes you'll try some protein powders and find that you like things better, for shakes, better for recipes. Just look at your ingredients, look at your carbs, look at your fiber. If it has a lot of fiber, want to be careful about that. And then look up different recipes. Here's what I'm going to tell you. A lot of other bloggers have come up with some of the most amazing ways to use protein so that you're not always having protein shakes. You can make protein pancakes by taking some protein powder, mixing it with a few egg whites, add some water, add some oatmeal if you want, mix it up in your blender, put some flavorings in there and put it on a griddle. You would never believe. Now some people will make those pancakes a little bit more, I don't want to say hardcore, a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Hearty, because they'll add like cottage cheese. You can add cottage cheese, you can add Greek yogurt. We'll do all kinds of other vlogs and vlog ideas and blog posts on that. You can find all kinds of recipes about protein shakes, protein, I hate to say it, protein balls, protein pancakes. I have a zucchini bread recipe using protein powder. I use more like a vanilla that uses, it's basically like zucchini bread, and there are literally, like, other than oatmeal, there's no carbs in it, and it's great protein, and you can have a whole loaf of it. It's wonderful. So do your research. You'll be able to find different ways to get protein into your diet that's tasty, that kind of shakes things up a little bit, and then, again, you're still eating food. Don't ever think that you can have nothing but protein shakes. That's a really boring way to approach life, but it's definitely something that will help you kind of add the protein in there, shake up what you're eating, kind of get rid of the monotony of having, whatever. I'm almost at 20 minutes.